Most guys think tattoos on a woman are just about style, right? A little art, a little edge, maybe even sex appeal. But what if I told you tattoos can reveal something much deeper? See, researchers have found patterns, hidden clues that can tell you a lot about a woman's mindset, her choices, and even what kind of partner she might be. And some of those patterns, they're not what most men expect. Now, I'm not saying every tattooed woman is trouble. I'm a woman myself, and I know plenty of good women who have ink. But studies have suggest that there are risks men overlook. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. And here's the wild part. The very thing that makes tattooed women so magnetic, so irresistible, is often the same thing that makes relationship with them harder than you think. Today, I'm going to break down 9 surprising risks of dating women with tattoos, according to research. And before we even get to risk number 1, let me ask you this. Why are men so drawn to tattooed women in the first place? Even when deep down, they sense it could be risky. That answer is where the story really begins. First though, let's start with the foundation, because risk number 1 sets the stage for everything else. Risk number 1, men see tattooed women as more sexually available. Now, this isn't just opinion, this comes straight out of studies. Researchers have found that men are quicker to approach women with visible tattoos for hookups rather than long-term commitment. Why? Because tattoos signal a certain kind of freedom, a willingness to stand out, a boldness that men subconsciously connect to with short-term connections. Think about it. You're at the beach. 2 women walk by. One has no tattoos, and the other one has a sleeve or a bold design across her back. Most men won't admit this out loud, but studies prove they're more likely to approach the tattooed woman first for a casual fling. Not that she's promiscuous, but because society has programmed men to see her that way. Here's the problem though. What do you think happens when you actually date her? Even if she's the most loyal, committed woman on planet, men around her may treat her like she's not. Strangers stare. Other guys slide into her DMs. Some even might test boundaries with bold comments or offers. And whether you want to admit it or not, that pressure can create cracks in your relationship. Not because of what she does, but because of how the world reacts to her, which leads straight to risk number 2. Risk number 2, restless energy. Studies consistently show that women with tattoos score higher for impulsivity. That means they tend to make quicker decisions, act on emotions, and sometimes take risks without fully thinking them through. Now, at first glance, that can seem exciting, right? She's the girl that says, let's book that trip right now, or let's stay out all night and figure it out later. She makes you feel alive, like you're riding a wave of energy you didn't even know you needed. But here's the catch. If she makes spontaneous choices in one area of her life, she might make them in others. And in a relationship, that can mean sudden mood shifts, reckless spending, or even risky behaviors when it comes to loyalty. But here's where it gets interesting, because that same impulsive streak, that's part of what makes her magnetic. Men see her as someone who lives in the moment, who doesn't play it safe, who brings adventure and fire into every room. And that's exactly why risk number 2 hits harder than most men expect. Risk number 3, trust issues. Let's be honest here. Trust is fragile in any relationship, but add tattoos into the mix, and studies show trust problems show up faster. Why? Because when the world constantly treats her more available, even the most confident men start asking questions. Why did that guy comment on her post? Why is her ex still liking her photos? Why do people assume she's single? Even if she's being completely faithful, perception alone can plant seeds of doubt. And those seeds, they grow fast. They turn into late night arguments, constant phone checks, and the low-level anxiety that quite never goes away. But here's where it gets more complicated. Not all tattoos come from attention or rebellion. Some of them come from something much deeper, something many men don't realize until they're already in too deep. And that brings me to risk number 4. Because if you really want to understand the hidden side of dating a woman with tattoos, you have to understand what those tattoos are covering up. Risk number 4, rebellion. A lot of women get tattoos during what I like to say their burnout phase. After a breakup, after losing a job, after some family drama, she goes to the tattoo shop as a way of saying, I do what I want. Now, at a first glance, that could look powerful, right? She's bold, she's independent, fiery, right? And as a man, that energy can be intoxicating. It feels like she's a woman who won't hold back, a woman who lives outside the rules. But here's the hidden danger. If rebellion is part of her identity, that same energy she uses to rebel against her past, she might use it to rebel against you. When you want stability, she might create freedom. When you want stability, she might crave freedom. When you want to build a life, she might want to burn things down again just to feel in control. But here's the real kicker. Rebellion often hides something deeper. Studies show tattooed women report higher rates of anxiety, depression, and past trauma compared to women without tattoos. Which leads straight to risk number 5. Risk number 5, emotional baggage. For some women, tattoos are not just decorations, they're armor, they're scars turned into symbols. A way of saying, I survived. That quote on her ribcage, it might be from her darkest season. That design on her wrist, it could mark the day she lost someone or the day she almost lost herself. Now, I'm not here to shame that. In fact, it could be beautiful when someone takes their pain and turns it into art. But as a man dating her, you need to understand something. If pain equals comfort for her, then chaos can feel like love. That means when you show up stable, consistent, reliable, she may not know what to do with you. Instead of embracing it, she might push you away, pick fights, or chase drama because in her mind, safe feels boring and chaos feels like passion. And that's exhausting. You'll end up in a cycle where you give more and more, but no matter what you do, she doesn't feel safe because the battle is inside of her, not with you. But here's the twist. Despite all these risks, men still chase after women with tattoos. Why? Because of risk number 6. Risk number 6, the fantasy trap. Tattooed women often project this aura of confidence, mystery, and even danger. And for a man, that's magnetic. It feels like you've stepped into a movie. She's the character who keeps you guessing, who turns heads everywhere, who makes your world feel bigger. But here's the trap. You're not falling in love with her. You're falling in love with the idea of her. You're falling for the image, the mystery, the vibe. And when the fantasy fades, you're left with reality, her insecurities, her habits, her choices. And sometimes those don't line up with the dream you built in your head. Now, this is where most men get stuck. Because even when the reality doesn't match, the pull is still there. And that's exactly why the next risk is so dangerous. Because it's not just about her. It's about the people she surrounds herself with. Stick with me because risk number 7 changes everything. Risk number 7, her social circle. Birds of a feather ink together. Studies show women with multiple tattoos are more likely to move in nightlife heavy or alternative circles. Now, that doesn't mean every tattooed woman is out every weekend, but if her friends are all party girls, adrenaline junkies, or men bashers on social media, that environment will eventually spill into your relationship. It's not just about her. It's about the tribe she identifies with. Because people become like the ones they spend their most time with. And if her circle thrives on drama, drinking, or chaos, it doesn't matter how stable you are, you're going to be pulled into it too. But here's where men fall hard. Even when they see the red flags, even when they feel the mismatch, they think, I can save her. Which brings me to risk number 8. Risk number 8, the savior illusion. Men sometimes look at tattooed women and think, she's damaged, but she's deep. She's been hurt, but with my love, I can heal her. It's the oldest story in the book. You step into her chaos like a knight in shining armor, believing you'll be the one to make her feel peace or to make her choose peace. But here's the truth. You can't erase her past. You can't rewrite her choices she's already made. And you definitely can't fight her battles for her. You can only accept who she is today. And too many men burn themselves out trying to love away someone's pain. But when you try to be the savior, you often end up the casualty. Now, even if she's loyal, even if she's the perfect match for you, there's one last risk you'll face. And this one, it has nothing to do with her and everything to do with how the world sees her. Risk number 9, public judgment. Whether we like it or not, society still judges tattooed women more harshly than tattooed men. Family, friends, even coworkers, people have opinions. Some will say she's wild, irresponsible, or not wife material. And if you're with her, those opinions extend to you. You might feel the side eye at family dinners. You might hear the whispers at work. That outside pressure alone has ended relationship that could have been happy. Now, here's the big question. Knowing all of this, would you still take the risk? Because tattoos don't make a woman bad. They don't erase her worth. But the research show they often signal patterns, impulsiveness, rebellion, trauma, and fantasy, toxic circles that can create challenges in love. And the real danger isn't the ink. The real danger is ignoring the story behind the ink. So if you're dating a woman with tattoos or thinking about it, look deeper. Ask yourself, am I falling for her or for the idea of her? Am I ignoring red flags because I like the excitement? Am I ready for the extra challenges that come with her world? Because here's the truth. Attraction fades. Patterns repeat. And love is not about how good she looks on your arm. It's about her patterns, and your pattern can build peace together. So I'll leave you with this question. Are tattoos worth the risk, or are they the warning? Drop your answer in the comments. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So it's been your girl Remy Renee here. You already know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video.